Hi, everybody. Welcome to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. Today is Monday, January 11th. Thanks for choosing to be here for your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. And it brings me great pleasure to say to you all today, Happy Victory Monday. This is the Victory Monday that we have been waiting for 18 years for Cleveland Browns fans. Yes, you did not dream it. It did happen. The Cleveland Browns beat the Steelers last night 48-37 in a beautiful showing of football. And we are going to talk all about that in just a moment. But first, let's get to some other big news that's happening around the country. Today in the House of Representatives, an article of impeachment was introduced by the House Democrats. It is one article of impeachment, and it is incitement of insurrection. Insurrection, of course, being a violent uprising against the government. So this is a 4-page document introduced in the House. The vote on this could come as early as Wednesday, which is 1 week before President-elect Joe Biden takes office. Now, a lot of people are wondering, what is the point of impeachment at this point in the presidency when there is just over a week left for President Donald Trump's time in office? Here is why it could be significant. If the president is impeached, again, remember he was impeached before, and if he is convicted this time by the Senate could then vote to bar him from holding public office ever again in the future. Now, that's not automatic with a conviction. It is another step that the Senate would have to take in order to do that. So that could potentially happen. However, it's not clear whether the Senate would have the votes for a conviction. Remember, it is 2/3 of the Senate that is required to convict. And though the Democrats do now have control of the Senate with the tie-breaking vote from Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, they don't have 2/3 of the Senate, and it's not clear that Republicans would be on board with conviction. However, if they do manage a conviction, it only takes a simple majority to vote to keep President Trump from ever holding public office again. So lots of ifs there, but that's what's happening in the process right now. An article of impeachment has been introduced in the House, and we do expect to vote on that sometime in the coming days. Something else that happened in Washington, D.C. today, Representative Jim Jordan, who represents us here in the U.S. House of Representatives. He's a representative for Ohio. He was awarded the Medal of Freedom at the White House. Press was not invited inside, but it was revealed that he did get presented that award. Now, this was announced last week, but the timing of him getting the award wasn't made public, and we do know that that has happened today. Now, President Donald Trump has not spoken publicly since the comments that he made that were shared on Twitter, and his account was suspended on Twitter. So those comments not up anymore. His personal account, Real Donald Trump, suspended on Twitter. We are now seeing as well a move to potentially disbar Rudy Giuliani in the state of New York. The New York State Bar Association is announcing that they are starting an inquiry to consider removing Rudy Giuliani, the president's personal attorney, from the State Bar of New York. The State Bar of New York posted on the website that Giuliani is partly responsible for the riots that occurred in Washington, D.C. last week on January 6th. The New York Bar Association gave the bulk of the credit or the blame to President Donald Trump for that, but said the president didn't act alone, mentioned that hours before, here's a quote from the New York State Bar Association, hours before the angry mob stormed the Capitol walls, Trump's personal attorney, Rudolph Giuliani, addressed a crowd of thousands at the White House, reiterating baseless claims of widespread election fraud in the presidential election and the Georgia U.S. Senate runoffs. The association also said that they have gotten lots of complaints about the actions of Rudy Giuliani, and as such, they are now looking into potentially disbarring him in the state of New York. The New York State Bar Association bylaws very specifically say this: no person who advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of any state, territory, or possession thereof, or of any political subdivision therein, by force or other illegal means, shall be a member of the association. So the president of the New York State Bar Association moving forward with that inquiry to launch that process. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Ohio. These are in from the Ohio Department of Health. Now remember, on Mondays we usually do see lower numbers because some agencies don't report over the weekends when it comes to testing and those things. But here's the numbers that we have. In the last 24 hours, there have been 7,892 new reported cases of COVID-19 in Ohio, and unfortunately 75 reported deaths today related to COVID-19, according to the Ohio Department of Health. Taking a look at our positive rates for tests that are being done, this latest data comes from Saturday, January 9th. The daily percentage that day, 12.4% of the tests coming back positive, and an average over the last 7 days preceding that, 14% coming back positive. In the last 24 hours, we've seen 219 new hospital admissions, bringing the total number of people in the hospital with COVID to 4,056. And the total number of those people who are being treated in the intensive care unit is 971. So we're seeing that dip down below 1,000 again. And we've seen 28 new ICU admissions in the last 24 hours. Out of all the hospital beds available in the state of Ohio, right now 30% of them are open for patients who might need treatment, inpatient treatment. Now let's take a look at the national and the global COVID-19 numbers. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. In the U.S., the total number of reported cases is now at 22,463,467, and the total number of deaths in the U.S. is now at 374,749. We have 4% of the global population, but the U.S. is leading the number of COVID-19 cases globally with 24.8% of the global cases and 19.3% of the global deaths. Globally now, the number of reported cases is over 90 million. It's at 90,604,773, and the total number of COVID-19 deaths is now at 1,939,488. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about what's going on in the sports world. A lot of people very surprised, very upset about the Cleveland baseball team trading Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco last week, and now Frankie Lindor has talked about it openly for the first time in his introductory press conference with the New York Mets. So this is his first public comments as a member of the New York Mets organization. He said it was really hard, and he said he'll miss Cleveland. He said he had to correct himself. He said Cleveland is home, or was home, in that press conference today. He says he'll miss the people, how they treated him, how they respected him, and he'll miss his teammates. He said that. He also said that Cleveland is a great place, a great city. He loves the fans and everyone in the organization, and that both sides tried to make it work, both Lindor and the Cleveland organization, but they just weren't able to come up with the money to keep him in Cleveland. He said for a long time he thought that the team would hold on to him. He said they didn't come up with the number. I don't know, the resources. Maybe they didn't have them. He says he's excited. He's in a good place, in a place that's ready to go to win. It is expected for the Mets to look at signing an extension with Frankie Lindor as he'll be up for free agency in a year. Now to more positive news for the Cleveland sports world. The Cleveland Browns, yes, you did not dream it. We won. We won yesterday against the Steelers 48-37. This was a rematch 18 years in the making to see them in the playoffs again at Heinz Field. And how about this? The Browns tied the record for the most points scored in the first quarter of an NFL game. That record was set in 1969, by the way, which is also the last time the Cleveland Browns won a playoff game on the road. So here's how it happened, in case you weren't watching. The Browns got a fumble recovery on the very first offensive play after the kickoff from the Steelers. Fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. It was insane. I think the number of times I tweeted "this is insane" last night is actually insane. And then after that, so what happened there was the center, Marquise Pouncey, snapped the ball over Ben Roethlisberger's head. Then it got recovered in the end zone. Safety Carl Joseph scored that first touchdown. Then there was another interception from cornerback MJ Stewart. And that was the very next time the Steelers got the ball, and they turned that into a 40-yard touchdown with Jarvis Landry for touchdown number 2. Then the next time the Browns got the ball back, they put together a 6-play drive, and Kareem Hunt scored a touchdown. And then there was another interception when the Steelers got the ball back. There was another interception that ended in an 8-yard Hunt touchdown run. Ben Roethlisberger threw a total of 4 interceptions during the game yesterday, and they just weren't able to pull it out. And now the Cleveland Browns will take on the Kansas City Chiefs next week in the AFC divisional round, and that is a beautiful thing. Another beautiful thing that happened in the postgame interview yesterday, Baker Mayfield trolled Fox Sports host Colin Cowherd because Colin Cowherd had made some comments about an interview that Baker Mayfield did last week. He was talking to the press on a Zoom call, and he had his hat backwards. Well, Colin Cowherd said this: interesting, wearing his hat backwards. What happened to Carson Wentz's season when he went to the podium with his hat on backwards? Oh, you're bad. The season unraveled. So making a not so great prediction for the Browns with that comment. And Cowherd actually predicted that the Browns-Steelers game would be a, quote, tire fire of a Pittsburgh victory coming up. Well, we all know that that is not what happened. But Cowherd is taking it in jest today. He retweeted someone who posted, Cowherd has to wear a backwards hat on the next show. Those are the rules. And he retweeted Baker taking a minute. When he was asked a question, he said, oh, hold on a second, flipped his hat around backwards before he answered the question. So being, again, the perfect level of petty. Also, the Browns continue to fire back at Juju Smith-Schuster, the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver who had been doing those TikTok dances on the logos after wins. You can see Jarvis Landry doing the dance in the Browns locker room after the game, and it is a beautiful sight to see. Smith-Schuster definitely had some words for the Browns. He said, same old Browns, they're just the same gray faces, same Browns I've been playing for years. Well, not exactly the same Browns this time, Juju Smith-Schuster. And that was a tough lesson, season ender for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can you tell that I'm happy about it? Head coach Kevin Stefanski wasn't even there. He was watching in his basement, talking to the media today. Someone asked if he had done stress eating to cope with watching the game at home, and he said, of course, we know that he's tested positive for COVID-19. He said he's had mild symptoms. He says he can't taste anything, so the stress eating wouldn't have helped. And talking about watching the game from home, he says, no, I don't plan on doing that again. If everything goes as planned, Stefanski expects to return to the team facilities on Thursday ahead of the Browns heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round. I would love to share your memes, by the way, today. That's what I'll be doing on the 5 o'clock show. So send me your memes about the Browns win over the Steelers. You can tweet them to me at _Stephanie Haney, or you can send them to me on Instagram _Stephanie Haney. And if you're feeling lucky after that Browns win and you're excited about the Ohio State championship that's happening tonight, that game happening tonight, you might want to play the lottery because the prizes are pretty big right now. The jackpot for the Mega Millions Tuesday night drawing is $600 million, and the top prize in the Powerball drawing, which is on Wednesday, is now $550 million. So it's been 2 years since these two national lottery games had such big prizes, and it's only the second time that both of them have been over $500 million. The Mega Millions prize is the 8th largest in U.S. history right now, and the Powerball jackpot is the 12th biggest. But, by the way, still a ways to go to beat the largest prize, which was a $1.58 billion Powerball jackpot. That was won by 3 people in 2016. But if you are a lottery player, those jackpots are pretty high right now, so now's the time to get your tickets. That's it for your 3 News Now update for Monday, January 11th on this glorious, glorious Victory Monday. I'll see you on What's New at 5 p.m. again. Send me those memes, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney.